Today we are simulating the Stanley Cup Playoffs if the playoffs consisted of the teams that missed the playoffs in real life. And look at this bracket. I mean, this is all the teams in real life that are missed the playoffs, and we put them together within the actual playoff format, and we're just having the playoffs and seeing who would be the best of the rest, and just seeing who would win the playoffs if the playoffs looked like this. And after the first game ones, Nashville's up 1-0, Calgary's up 1-0 on Anaheim, Arizona's up on St. Louis, Vancouver's up on San Jose. The Capitals are beating the Flyers, the Red Wings are up on the Senators, the Sabres are up 1-0 on the Canadiens, and the Penguins are up on actually losing to the Blue Jackets, which that's an interesting series. And after 4 games, I mean, look at that Penguins and Blue Jackets series. It's 3-1, 2-2 for Nashville and Chicago, 3-1 series for Calgary and Anaheim, tied at 2 between St. Louis and Arizona. Vancouver swept the San Jose Sharks. The Sabres are tied with the Canadiens. The Blue Jackets are beating the Penguins 3-1. Let's go. And Senators and Red Wings and Capitals and Flyers are also all tied at 2 apiece. And Patrick Laine is absolutely having a field day in these playoffs so far. Within 4 games, he has 4 goals and 5 assists. Absolute dog here through the first 4 games of the playoffs. And I mean, how about the Penguins though? How about them fucking Penguins putting a smile on my face, not doing so high? I mean, let's look at these playoffs. Let's look at these statistics. Nicholas Backstrom, the second best player. Andrei Kuzmenko. Dylan Larkin got 7 assists, 7 points. Tace Thompson 6 points. Philip Forsberg, JT Miller, Lucas Raymond 6 points, 2 goals and 4 assists, and the best goaltender right now, Thatcher Demko, absolutely went ape shit in the series against the Sharks. A .954 save percentage and a 124 goals against. Hart, buddy, gotta get them numbers up, bro. If we're gonna go past the first round, you're gonna need to get those numbers up, and he did. The Flyers would go on to beat the Capitals 4-2. Senators beat the Red Wings 4-2. We have a Game 7, only one of 2 Game 7s between the Blues and the Coyotes and the Sabres and Canadiens. The Predators defeat the Blackhawks 4-2. Flames beat the Ducks in 5. And then the Blue Jackets beat the Penguins in 5 games. That just puts a smile on my face. Fuck the Penguins. That just makes me happy. That just makes me extremely happy. Let's get into our first Game 7 of the video in the first round. The first of 2 here in the first round between the Sabres and the Canadiens. And after 1, Tyson Jost and Victor Olofsson put the Sabres on the board 2-0. And the Canadiens are out shooting the Sabres, but they don't have that heart or that dog. And after the first 2 periods, I mean, stays the same after the first period and going into the second. Nothing much happens. Here in the third, Dylan Cousins makes it 3-0. But hold on now. Harvey Pinard for the Canadiens makes it 3-1. And now halfway through the third, can someone seal the deal here and make a comeback here for the Canadiens? And no, they do not. The Sabres go on to defeat the Montreal Canadiens in 7. How about Craig Anderson? 28 saves. I mean, have yourself a day, buddy. Now it's time for the Coyotes and Blues Game 7. And very early on, Lawson Crouse scores early on that fraud, Jordan Binnington. And they're up 1-0 here halfway through the first. Nothing much happening so far besides the goal. The Blues are outplaying the Coyotes. So this is very, very interesting. How about Valimaki? Holy fuck, I can't speak. Valimaki scores. It is now 2-0. Alexandrov scores, and then how about Robert Thomas? Immediately right after that, within a minute, scores to tie it up. But how about Jack McBain? He ain't taking any of it. Now it's a 3-2 Coyotes lead halfway through the second. Brandon Saad, then Zach Kassian, the goon, he scores it from an unconventional area. Call him Patty Kane. Zach Kassian makes it 4-3 going into the third. The Blues are out shooting the Coyotes. Now about this, tied up with 14 minutes remaining. Lawson Crouse again, his second goal of the game on the power play. Binnington's an absolute fraud right now. I mean, he's getting absolutely exposed, only having 18 saves on 23 shots. And can the Coyotes pull this through? And they do. The Coyotes beat the Blues 5-4. How about Lawson Crouse? 3 points in Game 7. What a stud. How about Michelli? 3 assists, 5 hits for Jack McBain. I mean, the Coyotes were getting great production. And here is the playoff bracket for round 2. You got the Predators versus the Coyotes, the Flames versus the Canucks, the Sabres versus the Senators, and of course my Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, so I'm really intrigued by that Sabres and Senators matchup. Also, the Flames and Canucks should be really, really interesting. And through 4 games, here's what the seeds are and the series are looking like. Coyotes are tied 2-2 with the Predators. The Flames are up 3-1 on the Canucks. The Flyers and the Blue Jackets are tied at 2. And the Sabres are up 3-1 on the Senators. Now here we go for Game 5. the Predators do win their game, and the Flames do defeat the Canucks in 5 games. The Sabres go on to win Game 5, and so do the Flyers. And here we go, Game 6 for the Sabres and Senators, and it's a tie series. We're going to have ourselves a Game 7. Can the Flyers pull out the series win? And they do. Okay, here we go, boys. Good stuff to see. We win the series 4-2. However, we have ourselves a Game 7 between the Senators and the Sabres. Oh, we'll talk about some action early in the game. Tage Thompson and Matthew Joseph going absolutely apeshit early. Tage Thompson on the power play goal. Matthew Joseph scores, and it's 1-1 after one. Victor Olofsson early in the second period gives ourselves a 2-1 game. Power play for the Sabres does get killed off by the Senators. It's going to be a great game. How about Shane Pinto and Peyton Krebs? Just like that. Power play goal gives the Sabres the lead just right back. Very quick right back. And I'm not going to try. Petrika, I just tried. I even know I said I wasn't going to. 4-2 for the Sabres here going into the third with 20 minutes remaining. This is a very interesting game. I can still see the Senators come back. They have all that offensive explosion. And as I'm talking about, Alex DeBrincat scores. Now halfway through the third, can someone like Giroux, can somebody like Brady Tkachuk, snap it? Oh, Kelly, bald bitch Kelly scores, and we got ourselves a tie game with 3.5 remaining. Can we go to overtime in Game 7? And we do. Who's going to come up clutch for the Senators or the Sabres? Will we have a second overtime? Here we go. 4-on-3, 5-on-3, 2-man advantage, and the Sabres will win Game 7. Peyton Krebs gets his second goal of the game, and the Sabres will go on to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Flames will take on the Predators in the Western Conference Finals. Hell of a series as we have here. Sabres and Flyers. Of course, I'm going to have the Flyers winning. Of course I am. And here are the player stats through the playoffs here after 2 rounds. Roman Josi, how about it? Playoffs for him. The best player through the playoffs. 17 points with 4 goals and 13 assists. Dog. How about Giroux? 4 goals, 7 assists on 11 points and after 4 games. Both series are tied at 2. Predators and Flames, Sabres and Flyers. Here we go, Game 5. Who's going to prevail in the Western Conference Final? The Flames go up 3-2. Now it's for the Flyers and the Sabres. Can my Flyers defeat the Sabres? No. It's 3-2 going to South Philly for Game 6. Can the Flames pull out the series victory in 6? And they do. Now, will the Sabres be able to defeat the Flyers here in 6 games, or will there be a Game 7 back in Buffalo? One of the favorites out of the East. They cannot pull out the win in Game 6, and here we go. We have ourselves a Game 7 winner takes on the Flames in the Stanley Cup Finals. Sabres coming out firing early, starting out hot. And how about that son of a bitch, I can't pronounce his name, scores halfway through the first, gives the Sabres a 1-0 lead, and after 1, Nick Seeler ties the game at 1. And here we go. How about Tony DeAngelo from an unconventional slot? Then Kevin Hayes. Hazy, the guy who's not going to be in town no more after this season, makes it a 3-1 game on a power play goal. Here we go. Halfway through the second, the Flyers now have about the same amount of shots as the Sabres, and we are currently... Why am I saying we? They are currently playing better than the Sabres. And how about a 4-1 game for the Flyers now going into the third period? I think it's a wraps, boys. You might be able to call this rig all you want. Listen, I understand. I'm not rigging it. How about Noah Cates? Make it 5-1. Hell yeah. Listen, I'm not rigging this, okay? The Flyers are just winning. It just happens to happen. I'm a Flyers fan, and I did this video, and they're going off. How about Brendan Lemieux makes it 6-2, and here we go. Stanley Cup Final. We are going to have the Calgary Flames taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. And look at these 3 stars, studs. And now let's look at each team and see who's done the best for them in these playoffs. Andrew Mangiapane is doing phenomenal. Jonathan Huberdeau is doing very... look at the depth that this Flames team is currently producing. A lot of players over 10 points. Noah Hannafin's got 11 points. How about Mackenzie Weegar with that plus 16? That is just nasty. And Jacob Markstrom, absolute dog. And here are the look of the Flyers. Owen Tippett's the top point getter for the Flyers. Morgan Frost having himself a great playoffs. Kevin Hayes, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Tony DeAngelo has been absolutely huge for the Flyers. 13 points in 19 games. Noah Cates producing over 10 points. That's really, really productive. And obviously the GOAT, Carter Hart, a .920 save percentage with a .255 goals against. And here we go. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1, the Flames win. It gives them a 1-0 series lead. How about that? Game 2, the Flyers win it right back. Give that a 1-1 series. The Flyers are up 2-1. Here we go, boys. Going into Game 4, I assume in Philly, and they lose. And we got our tied up series going back to Calgary, 2-2. Oh, boy, okay, this is a rough one. In Calgary in the Saddle Dome. Oh, it's the 3-2 series going back to South Philadelphia. The boys are going to need to be buzzing. Will there be a Game 7? We're about to find out. Here we go. First period power play early here for the Flyers. Can they do anything? No. Gets killed off by the Flames. And halfway through the first, the Flyers are out shooting the Calgary Flames. So this is a good sight for me, obviously, if you're not a Flyers fan, obviously. You're probably hoping and praying on their downfall. I know I'm being obnoxious. Is what it is. And after one, nothing's happened. It will be a 0-0 game after the first period, and the shots are about even. The Flames have one more shot than the Flyers. And how about Nick Deslauriers, out of all people, gets the first goal of the game, gives the Flyers a 1-0 lead here early in the second and halfway now through the second period, and we just decide to sim. Now some Kadri scores to tie it up, and now it is a 1-1 game. 20 minutes remaining in third period. Will there be somebody coming up clutch for the Flames, becoming a hero, bringing the Stanley Cup back to Canada for the first time since '93? Brendan Lemieux, look at the Goons. The Goons are coming up clutch for the Philadelphia Flyers. 3.5 minutes remaining. Joel Farabee wraps it up. Here we go. Game 7 in the Saddle Dome. Oh, this is going to be special for the Cup. Carter Hart, 35 saves on a .972 save percentage. Absolute beauty. And here we go. Game 7 in Calgary. Who's going to come out on top and be the best of the rest and win the Stanley Cup? Will another Philadelphia team have heartbreak their fans yet again, as the Sixers did yesterday? Maybe. Who knows? Here we go. Power play for the Flyers, and they do score. James Van Riemsdyk gives the Flyers a 1-0 lead, and after one, the Flyers will remain with a 1-0 lead. And here we go. Going into the second period, 40 minutes remaining. Can the boys hang on? Here we go. Power play for the Flyers. 2-man advantage. And can they do anything with it? No, they cannot. Great penalty kill there by the Flames. They are dominating the Flames here. Power play. They get it killed off. 5 minutes remaining here in the second period. Noah Cates makes it a 2-0 game now. 2-goal leads, the worst lead in hockey. So can the Flyers hang on to this? They're outplaying the Flames. They're outpacing them. But Dylan Dubé says not on his watch. Power play goal. Give it a 2-1 Flyers lead now. Halfway through the second. Here we go. 8 minutes remaining until we find out. We're going to slow down the game. We're going to slow it down. And holy shit. Dylan Dubé is just tied it here in Game 7, 2-2. 5 minutes remaining. Oh my God, this is the typical Flyers. Typical Flyers, typical Philly choke. 3-2, 2 minutes remaining. What the fuck are they doing? What the fuck are... Oh my God.
Oh no! We suck again!
Oh my God. This is the typical Flyers. Yup, you can't have shit in Philly. You cannot have shit here. 4-2 and 38 seconds remaining. Tyler Toffoli buries an empty netter, and that will do it. And the Calgary Flames will go on to win the Stanley Cup, and the Flyers lose in typical Flyers fashion. What? How the fuck do you do that?
How do you do that? How do you do that?
I mean, they don't. They always find a way to fucking do something stupid. But the Calgary Flames are the best of the rest. They win the Stanley Cup playoffs out of all the teams that didn't make the playoffs, and look at that. They get to hoist the Stanley Cup. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in for the next one.